After a strong week at the Senior Bowl and earning the game's MVP, Garrett Nussmeier continues to prove he is a starting NFL quarterback.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day and making the Locked On Podcast Network the number one sports podcast network in all of America. It's all because of you guys, and we love you for it. Recapping this Senior Bowl, guys, the Senior Bowl game that was this past Saturday and everything. Recapping that, we can talk about guys who made themselves some money, guys who fumbled the bag, and their stock should be dropping, and then give out the game ball. Spoiler alert, it goes to the game MVP. And we're going to start off with the fact that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase.
No hiding from the tape. It's time for Moneymakers and Bag Fumblers.
Garrett Nussmeier came into this week, and he was a guy that had a lot riding on it, right? If you listen to the show, I believe it was last the week, about 2 weeks ago, me and Keith did our rankings. I had Taylen Green as my QB1, tools, everything. I wanted to see how he would progress, how he would practice and play during the week. And Keith had Nussmeier. Nussmeier came out as the better quarterback throughout the week and everything. That's that natural throwing ability of the football where, we'll talk about Taylen Green a little bit later. So with Nussmeier, he wasn't great the first day, in my opinion. And I think that he made a statement, or there was a report that he's still not 100% completely healthy. And that could be why some of the passes on day one of the Senior Bowl practices were kind of, they left a lot to be desired from an arm talent standpoint, right? He threw them, they were short, underthrown passes at guys' feet, vertically and things of that nature. He's also 6'1", so he's a short quarterback. So you got to maximize everything within the pocket with him. But he got better as the week went on. And in the game, he played well. He played well in the actual game. And was like 5 for 7, 50 some odd yards. He had a rushing touchdown. He did have unfortunately, he did have a interception, but that wasn't on him. Nussmeier threw that interception, but it was a beautiful throw. Number one, up the seam, really good ball to one of the tight ends. I can't think of which tight end it was. But yeah, he was 5 of 8 for 57 yards, the 3-yard rushing touchdown, and the interception. And on that interception, it was a seam throw. He got it up, over, and down, up and over the underneath defender and down to his tight end. Ball goes straight through the tight end's hands, and it went straight to the DB, right? It was a ricochet into the hands of the DB, and it became an interception. But that was not on Nussmeier. Nussmeier did what he needed to do, and Nussmeier played well. And I give him nothing but respect for that, right? He was accurate. And it was like, I think they said like 40-mile-per-hour winds or something like that. So he was able to drive some throws and get some throws to his receivers. He had a throw on I believe it was a 2-point conversion to Malachi Fields, where he's rolling to his right, threw back across his body. It looked very Brock Purdy-esque. Not gonna lie, I think my initial comp was Tony Romo, but if the arm talent doesn't improve, he's probably gonna be another variant of Brock Purdy to me. And everything, which you absolutely can win with if you put the right team around. But I think he's a starting quarterback. I think he helped himself a lot this week, and especially in the game. We saw the natural leadership. We saw, again, the accuracy, the ball placement, things that he was able to do. So shout out to Garrett Nussmeier. He made himself some money, guys. But another guy that made himself some money, 2 running backs I got to talk about here. Number one, Mike Washington Jr., big 6'2", 228, 6 foot, 228. Just powerhouse running downhill, but a guy that will bounce runs outside. He can work the stretch game. He's a scheme versatile running back who can run inside zone. You can do duo. You get the pin pull action off of counters. And he's very patient and everything. This wasn't a week that was going to highlight him the way I wanted, because he's a back that he gets better with carries and with touches. And when you're constantly rotating in and out, it doesn't allow you to really get that. I always tell people this: running backs, it's a feel and flow type of position that you're not going to just, hey, I'm a running back, I'm really good. Yes, you can, like the explosive guys that can hit a 80-yarder, but it's not a video game. This is real life. Like, you're not just going to walk off the bench, hit an 80-yarder, go back to the bench, and you're 1 for 80 in a touchdown, right? So, but Mike Washington Jr., I believe he scored in this game. He ran hard, he moved the pile, he drove with his legs and everything. But also, like I said, that ability to get to the, that ability to get outside and get to the perimeter. He was able to do that, stiff arming guys, things of that nature. So liked what I saw from him. He also caught the ball well this week for the most part in practice. I think teams that want to add a running back, I would say this, and we're going to get into it. The running back class isn't as bad as we initially believed, right? And I'll say that's also because of the showing from Jadyn Ott in this game. Jadyn Ott ran the ball well, guys. Like, I liked a lot of what I saw from Jadyn Ott in this game. And it was the patience, it was a stop-start ability, like the ability to make guys miss in the phone booth. And then he has the speed, the burst, and explosiveness as well that you look for. And I think with Ott, like, he's gonna, I think he helped himself, put himself back on the map, back on the radar. And people say, hey, why do you value the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl over? Like, it's not that you value it over the film, but what do you get to see in person or watch the film at the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl? And for the Senior Bowl and for what Jadyn Ott was able to do in the game, it proves, hey, go back a couple years ago before I got hurt and everything else, I was a dude. I can make plays. I can tote the rock. I can catch the ball. I'm a big playmaker. And I think somebody's going to get a steal with him, probably it depends on how he tests, right? He's completely healthy. He goes out there and rips up the combine. Guys, I'm telling you now, his stock is going to rise even more, and there's going to be some cha-chinging going on because there's going to be some checks cashing. There are going to be some OCs that say, I want him in our backfield, right? Like, you think about the fact of, could he be what Keaton Mitchell was as a rookie before he ended up getting hurt in, I think, year 2 for the Baltimore Ravens? That big play hitter. Also, that kick returner that can average 25 to 28 yards per kick return, or punt returner. He can bring some different value. You want the ball in the hands of a dynamic running back like a Jadyn Ott. Let's talk about, I think it's Nadame Tucker from Western Michigan. He ended up having a strip sack in this game. His speed, the dip, the motor, but then it's the instincts at the top of his rush, working back to the quarterback. Even you're trying to wash him outside the arc, right? He got I think it was in the high red zone, right? Taylen Green, the offense, were moving downfield. Taylen Green goes to drop back to throw. He reaches out because Taylen Green has a kind of a long, kind of a elongated windup or whatnot. So he goes to cock back to throw the ball, and you see Tucker's hand come swipe the ball, strip sack, right? And just his ability to get to the quarterback. And he was doing it all week in practice. But this is a guy who's had a very successful career at Western Michigan, especially this past season. So when you talk about the fact that, hey, he came out here and he did, well, the same thing he's been doing, 6'3", 250 pounds, and off per PFF this year, I think he had 14 and a half sacks, 6 QB hits. He had 4 fumbles forced, and he had 41 hurries. This is a guy at that outside linebacker spot, 6'3", 250. Like, you think about the Denver Broncos and running that kind of that odd front, defensive front. The Patriots needing another young edge rusher to come off the edge and everything like that. Mike Vrabel has, he was there when they had when they drafted Harold Landry. I could see a Nadame Tucker, but if I'm not butchering that name, if I am, please excuse me. But I could see Tucker being a guy that the Patriots are like, or the Broncos, heck, even the Ravens, just trying to figure out that we need more edge juice. We need some more pass rush off the edges. 1,000%, man. I think he could fill that role. But guys, coming up, what goes up must come down. We got some guys that fumbled the bag during the Senior Bowl. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And this week, Prize Picks has a special max discount for the big game. Live in the app right now, Drake May just needs 1 yard, one passing yard for the max discount to win. Add another player to your lineup, and if your picks hit, you cash in. Prize Picks is super simple to use. It takes no time to get started. It makes watching games even more fun because every drive and every single stat, they matter. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Kicking off the year feeling good is the goal, right? And honestly, hydration is the easiest win. When I stay on top of it, my energy, focus, and mood, they all level up. But let's be real, plain water doesn't always get the job done. It doesn't always cut it, especially when you're grinding through those long days, hitting the gym, or just trying to stay consistent with your health goals. And that's where Drip Drop comes in. Doctor developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Think clearer focus, better energy, elevated mood, even that fresh skin glow. I use Drip Drop. And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, some of the flavors I like, I love cherry, and that fruit punch hits. And I use it to, honestly, it helps me throughout the day. After I get the kids ready for school, I'm able to drop one in my water bottle and get going for work. Right now, Drip Drop is offering our podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL for 20% off. Stock up now at dripdrop.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL. Bag Fumblers is what we're getting into next. Thanks for being an everydayer with us. If you want the show ad-free, check out the Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com and become a member.
No hiding from the tape. It's time for Moneymakers and Bag Fumblers.
I alluded to it earlier, and it was Taylen Green, my QB1 coming into the week. He did not have the best season. He had a better season than us. So I was like, hey, tools, athleticism, and what I did not see the guy, like the beginning to first half of the season. I had not seen that guy for most of the rest of 2025, now into the 2026 year for Taylen Green. He was strip sacked. He made bad decisions, this week, whether it was, like I said, rolling out, being pressured, throwing the interception, not identifying the underneath defender. Rolling out of the pocket, throwing back across his body. That's not something he was doing a ton of this year at Arkansas. He was not throwing the ball across his body a ton. I don't know what he was pressing. It's clear as day that Taylen Green was pressing during Senior Bowl practices and the game. And not only that, it's the struggle to regurgitate the verbiage and the play call. And I said it on Friday's show, talking with Keith. I said Taylen Green has proven this week and at the end of the year that he is he's a project, and that's fine, right? I would think that teams would look at we look at our guy. Oh man, what's his name? We look at our guy Malik Willis, and we see him and what things are working out for him, and he's about to more than likely cash in on a veteran contract, right? So Taylen, it's not that all is lost for Taylen Green. Taylen Green is 6'6", roughly around 235, 240. He's got a rocket arm. He can play from under center. He's an outstanding athlete, not just straight line like a Colin Kaepernick or some running quarterbacks. This is the dude that can make swift cuts, plant, read, cut, and get past guys. He can stiff arm you. He can run QB power, QB counters, and things like that in the low red zone. He can do those things, which you have to work on. And I watched it, he talked about it's not, I think it was maybe Friday. He was like, yeah, QB gurus will talk about the mechanics, right? And it's this decision making. Well, it's both, because I went back and I was watching the film of him during practice and during the 2-minute drill, And it's all about being ready to throw. And when your feet are so close together, they're narrow. He's such a narrow base guy at the top of his drop. When he gets it, when that back foot hits at the top of Taylen Green's drop, instead of just opening and torquing and throwing, and it's just one fluid motion, it's heel clicky, narrow base, then the overextend from the lead foot. Now you're inaccurate. And things of that nature. When you see him throw in one motion and it's fluid, it's smooth, it's compact, you see better accuracy and better placement. He's got all the physical tools, but this is not a guy that can start. This is not a guy that can start year one, maybe not even year two. But he's going to be a project. And I dropped his grade to day 3. I would take him 4th round. 4th round is where I would select Taylen Green because it's not a high investment on him. So the fan base doesn't get completely enthralled with them and just buy into him and say, hey, we can't move on from Taylen Green. No, it gives you an out. He's a 4th round quarterback, right? Just like the Browns with Shedeur Sanders. Shedor's not a lock for anything, and nor should he be, right? He's got to earn that with the new coaching staff. I think he could. Maybe he will, but he doesn't deserve to be the starter. Like, you got to earn that. So Taylen Green, it's the same thing. He's got to work himself back up. I think the combine is going to be big for him. He's going to go out there, throw some really good passes, work on the mechanics, man. Please go out there and work on the mechanics. Like, work from this point to the combine. I need to see better mechanics when we get there. Work on your footwork. Work on transitioning from drop back to throwing the football. It needs to be a fluid motion, not segmented. It's just 3 different parts, and they're all disconjointed for Taylen Green. But let's get off Taylen Green's case, and let's talk about who else lost himself some money. I think he's from Boston College. Offensive tackle Jude Bowery. Man, this was not a good showing in the Senior Bowl game for old Jude Bowery, guys. He allowed 2 strip sacks. Okay, yes, out of Boston College, he allowed 2 strip sacks, guys. 6'5", 310 pounds, somewhere in there. Jude allowed 2 strip sacks versus 2 different quarterbacks. Luke Altmaier was strip sacked, and I believe the defense recovered it. And then Taylen Green, when he was strip sacked by Tucker, that was against Jude Bowery as well. Jude Bowery, like the physical limitations in terms of lateral movement in space are super concerning. I don't know if he's a tackle. I like some stuff I saw from him during Senior Bowl week at practices. I felt like I got after in the run game. He had some solid moments in pass protection, right? He's got an attitude to him. I like that little edge. But I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not enough to leave you at tackle, and you can't move your feet. We got you out here in the NFL. You will be isolated. They will slant. They will find a way. Right? If a team has 2 good pass rushers, think about playing the Pittsburgh Steelers and they want to stop. Well, right now they might want to stop Alex Highsmith more than TJ Watt. Well, guess what? If they leave you even on an older version of TJ Watt, you're cooked. Okay? Like, it just is what it is. You get another pass rusher, another speed rusher, opposite of Myles Garrett or something, and they slide protection to Myles Garrett and they leave you one-on-one. These guys can get watching Tucker get 2 steps upfield, hit him with the ghost move, the dip and rip, and then run the arc. And watching the fact that Jude Bowery's feet were not in range consistently. He got beat with speed and quickness routinely. Yes, you lost some money here. You lost some money, especially in the tackle class that people don't view highly. So if people if they're already a little down on the tackle class, coming out to Mobile, going out there last week, that was your opportunity. That was your moment to go out there and prove, hey, take me in the 2nd round. I can get it done. Max Ionisher from Arizona State, oh, he did it. Oh, absolutely he did it. All week in practice, especially in the run game. Had some moments, some up and down moments in pass protection, giving up some power, but then able to sink his hips and drop the anchor and stop the rush. But then even in the game, they knew who to run behind when they wanted to run the ball. Behind Mad Max. Okay? So, yeah, man, I just, in all honesty, I truly believe that Jude Bowery hurt himself. I think he's going to be, to me, he projects better at guard, where I shorten the distance you have to work. You have bumpers on each side of you. you can work within tandem, and we limit the space you have to cover. The last group I'm saying group. I'm not even going to just single out any specific guy. It's the tight ends, guys. The tight ends, Sam Roosh. Sam Roosh. Who else? I think Gillenborg. These guys drop passes, right? John Michael Gillenborg or whatever. I think that was the throw. Yes, that was the throw that turned into the interception for Nuss. Sam Roosh had an easy drop on the first drive and everything. No defenders nearby. He could have turned that upfield and made a play. But this tight end class has a lot to prove behind Kenyon Sadiq. And that's why I hate that Michael Trigg wasn't here either. And just it's just not it's tough coming off the Senior Bowl week to feel excited about the tight end class because there was some talent in Mobile. These guys just didn't rise to the occasion. And that's unfortunate, right? Justin Jolie, you want to see him do more. I think a lot of these guys are probably going to hit themselves back in third round at the earliest, honestly. And they're probably going to be more day 3 picks than there are day 2 picks. It's tight end, unless, you're a really good blocker and a team wants to hey, I want to get my Charlie Kolar with the Baltimore Ravens, a guy who does have pass catching ability, but he's a good run blocker, right? Like if you want to get that guy like that on day 2, late day 2, I'm fine with that too, for sure, right? The tight end group, man, dropping these passes, like I said, Sam Roosh wide open, drop. Gillenborg up the seam, beautiful throw from Nuss, beautiful, on point, right? Helmet high, all you gotta do is make the play through your doggone hands, and right to a defender. Can't have it. You can't have it. You can't win with that, man. These guys got to be better. And at the combine, and whoever gets invited, you better catch everything. Those routes better look crisp. You better run fast, and you better jump high. That's the only thing I can tell you. Because right now, the stock has dropped. It's plummeted for the tight end class right now coming out of Mobile. But guys, coming up next, got to talk about Garrett Nussmeier just a little bit more. Telling you why he's the game ball winner of the entire week. Especially for the quarterbacks and for the game. We're talking about the game mostly, but especially for the game. Coming off a Senior Bowl game, Garrett Nussmeier gets my game ball. New year, new systems. This is a time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communication is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnfl. That's QUO.com/lockedonnfl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, well, that part hasn't always been so simple or so easy. But that's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it truly belongs. With you, with me, with us, with the fans. Everything with Game Time feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. They also have great last-minute options too, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot, for being our everydayers. It's time to hand out our game ball.
I'm calling game.
I've given Garrett Nussmeier a ton of love as it is already to kick off this show, and I'm going to close it out, giving him more. He gets my game ball of the Senior Bowl game. Again, he was 5 of 8, 57 yards, 3-yard rushing touchdown. He had a 2-point conversion throw to Malachi Fields, and that one interception that was on Jake Gillenborg more than it was on Nuss. And I think for Nuss, he came in, there was a lot of pressure coming off of the just a terrible season he had at LSU. The injuries, multiple injuries that bothered him and hampered him this year. Going from throwing over 4,000 yards in 2024 to throwing less than 1,900 yards, I believe it was, in 2025, and eventually getting benched. And like I said, I hadn't played football in 3 months. The leadership, the maturity, the camaraderie, the team player aspect. This is a type of guy. It's going to be hard to bet against, in my opinion. And as he gets healthier and he throws and rips throws and does what he needs to do, he like I said, take that same energy that you had at the Senior Bowl, take it to the combine. Be a leader of men. Be the guy that breaks down the huddle of quarterbacks when the quarterbacks are getting ready to do all their testing on field and everything else. Go to the podium. Shine your butt off, man. Go out there and answer these questions. People ask you anything, tell them the truth. Don't give them BS. Be straight up honest with them. His stock has risen. I bumped his grade back up into the second round. I think he's a second-round quarterback right now. And if he gets healthier between now and the combine, and I start to see more, I'll be in attendance. Guys, I will be in attendance. Okay, I thought I said that. No, I said that for the Senior Bowl, and then this winter storm hit, and then another winter storm hit, and I'm snowed in, and it's a lot going on right now. Okay, DP's mental is all over the place. Okay, but I'll be watching film, doing a lot of stuff this week. Right, I'll be dropping some content on my own YouTube channel, the Scouting Room on YouTube, but I'll be dropping more podcasts. Me and Keith probably get into our draft profiles. Maybe start with Fernando Mendoza, who knows? But back to Garrett Nussmeier, I just look at the fact that the way he played, again, that those weren't, I would say for the arm talent thing, it gave me some relief the way he was able to spin the ball a little bit in the high winds that they said was swirling around there and everything. So it lets me know, hey, in some outside conditions, you can throw the ball. Now, is it raining? Like, is it snowy and the ball's frozen, your hands are freezing? I don't know how that we don't know how that will play out if he has the arm talent for those type of cities, to play for those type of cities for a whole season, right? Or for his career. But the winds he was able to deal with. So I do think that some of these teams, man, the Arizona Cardinals and things like that, I think that there's a chance we don't know what's going to happen with Trinidad Chambliss, but I do believe that Garrett Nussmeier is going to make this an interesting conversation between him and Ty Simpson, because he at least has more starts than Ty, and more, I guess you could say, well, they both have pretty much a half a season of great play, honestly. Both of them have a half a season of great play. Ty Simpson had great first half to middle of the season of this year, and Nussmeier had a great first half to middle of the season in 2024. Both of them, the back end of their seasons, did not play well, but Nussmeier didn't have a great season in 2024, but he's going to have more starts. So some OCs will feel like he can pick up the offense quicker. It'll be more things to buy in on when it comes on the Nuss from a mental and experience standpoint. So I think if he goes and tears it up at the combine, he's going to make this a very interesting conversation. But nonetheless, I give him a game ball. He played well. He played well. I got to give Garrett Nussmeier his love, man. He played well. Would have loved to see him get throw a touchdown in the game and everything. But and another reason I would give him the game ball as the quarterback, he managed the game. He managed it, right? Running the ball, with the running backs, not trying to check out of runs and try to throw the ball too much. He was playing within the offense, playing within himself, knowing how to do what they needed him to do, and then being able to, off the play action, use his legs, get the ball into the flats, make the right reads, checks, and make the right reads and throws and everything else. Man, he just played. He looked like an NFL quarterback, guys, and I think he's building up that confidence again to where you say to yourself, he can start from my franchise. That's where it's trending for a guy like Garrett Nussmeier. So he gets my game ball of the Senior Bowl and of Senior Bowl week for the quarterbacks. But guys, that's this show talking about the game ball winner, who is Garrett Nussmeier, the bag fumblers, the money makers, the guys who helped themselves, guys who hurt themselves, As always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and everyday shot for being our everydayers. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.